Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week number 15 of Britball with the Breens. We are supposed to have a guest. He has not shown up yet. We have sent him the link and stuff, but we're assuming that he has not looked in his junk folder. We've had a 2-week break again. We've had games a couple of weeks ago. We've had the coaches convention, some weird statements from BAFA. We've had some streams about it. We've had the under-19s GB team.
So just your average
playing,
week, really.
Yeah, pretty much just an average week in Britball. But obviously, as we know, we don't have that many games this weekend, which is really strange considering there's been shortages over the last while. We've only got 16 games this weekend. I think
this is one of the GB weekends, so Prem and Div 1 have mostly been knocked on the head, except for a couple of games.
Ah, right. Is that why only Sheffield and that are playing?
Yeah.
Aye, nothing at all. Nothing of note.
Absolutely nothing of note, Aaron. It's been pretty regular, mundane, boring stuff.
It's been pretty mental, to be honest with you. You'd think with 16 games would everyone have refs. Yeah, well, I know one game doesn't have refs. I don't know about any others, but I know that one game doesn't have any referees. But yeah, it's been pretty nuts over the last couple of weeks. What's went on? Obviously, there's still an ongoing issue with the fact that we can't get enough referees for games. Teams are pulling out of games. There's another one this week. There's one already signed up for pulling out next week. And realistically, it's a bit of a shambles. But then we've got the good stuff. GB, the under-19s lost to Finland, but they end up winning against Spain in a bit of a bakery bowl. There was so many turnovers.
It was a proper bakery bowl, that one. But and that was the Group B. I read it up, actually. I was trying to figure out how the European Championships work. So there was, I think, a Group A, a Group B, and a Group C. Don't think there was a Group D, but you could only compete within your group, and it was based on how your teams were seeded. So GB were in Group B, I believe, and they finished third after beating Spain.
Yeah, because I wondered how it worked, because they only played 2 games, but they finished third.
Mm-hmm. So it was just a knockout. So the winner of the first 2 games went on to play in a final, and the losers went on to play in a bronze medal match. Because I did see in the Group A setup, I seen how Austria scored their winning touchdown against Sweden for the gold medal match in Group A, and it was a hook and ladder, which is just absolute perfection across the board. So much love for that. But no, a good job by the GB guys out there, the under-19s. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I think it was 2 pretty incredible touchdown grabs by number 12. Someone can maybe correct me on that one. 2 second half touchdown grabs by him kind of sealed the deal. Kudos to the guys and the coaching staff. It's a good job by them.
Yeah, it was, and really, like, they got the running game going a little bit. They've got really good running back at the GB under-19s. Sorry, the guy is supposed to be on with us to guest tonight. It's just the guys have just texted me just now. Yeah, I mean, it was like I think they were just overpowered by Finland. I think Finland's run game was really good, and there was a bit of, I think they were just better in the trenches, to be honest with you. But you had a concern about why they were playing a 3-man front against that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is Finland were an extremely physical team, and they were very good at running the ball. But I mean, Finland's definitely decided to pass way too much, considering they were comfortably getting 5-6 yards a run. Mm-hmm. Which is why I was really concerned as to why GB were running a 3-man defensive line against a team that were just running over the top of them. It didn't really make much sense to me. But they kind of fixed a couple of things in the second half, and it was a bit better. But yeah, this certainly looked like a more well-rounded team against Spain. I mean, there was mistakes and turnovers, but that's football, you're right. But they certainly, the offense in particular, looked a lot more accomplished against Spain than it did in the game against Finland.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that no matter which way you put it, like there isn't a huge amount of games these or training these guys get, so it might take a little bit longer for them to click and that. But like they showed some potential. They had some good plays. But and again, especially here's Jack now, especially in defense, where I mean they read the QB numerous times. They read the QB and got him involved. So and picked him off. So it's been an interesting one. Right, I'm gonna see how Jack's doing here. Just said hi, Steve.
Just on this one,
Yes.
sorry. Yeah, I would agree. There was a lot of unnecessary roughness and sportsmanlike penalties. I believe there was definitely a player, a middle linebacker, 52, I believe, was ejected in the game against Spain for almost back-to-back unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. But I believe he played for Nottingham University. So, no comment.
Yeah. You talk when you see folk doing it, you copy them. So, but because he's here, I'll get our guest in. So our guest is the centre for the Nottingham Raiders. Kindly agreed to come on tonight. So we'll get him and we'll have a chat with him. So this is Jack Marshall. So Jack, let's add him in. Hello, Jack.
Hello.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
Yes.
good. Cheers.
I'm sorry about you not getting the link. I sent an email, but it might have just not come through your email properly.
I get that many emails from work. It's probably just gone straight into a junk file.
Oh, yeah, because
that's where most people send us, Jack. I wouldn't worry about it.
I normally send the link to my brother and then the guest at the same time. So yeah, it might have just not come through. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. I've had a long week at work, but I started a new course, so changing shift patterns, everything. But looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, you guys are a double header this weekend, is there? But or is it like the clubs have got a double header?
We tried to plan it with Baffert to get a double header, so the result would count for both games. But they were just like, no, the previous game's gone as a walkover for us because we've been able to get refs. But we've also had our home game against Gateshead due to no refs again. We couldn't supply refs because every local game was scheduled. Yeah. So it's been a really tough. Every local game, local team, had a game that week. So getting refs for it was just a nightmare. And then we had coaches that were on holiday, and we just had to let the game go.
Are you supposed to have quite a high temperature for your game this weekend? Because I've seen a few.
Yeah, so he's away in Darlington. So I luckily checked the little map. It's just out of the temperature warning zone, so it should be fine. No problems.
So instead of being 36, it'll be 34.
Yeah, but
I can't help but notice your hair color, Jack, and I had a lot of worries for you. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I get sunburnt when it's -7, so it's snowing. So
it's when folk make that mistake when they go skiing a lot, do they? Because they end up going skiing. Because you think it's cold, but the sun reflects off the snow, so you end up getting burnt like really badly.
Really bad.
Your team saying here he is. Hey Jack. A lot of linemen love for like recently. Hey, if the linemen want to come on, we'll chat to linemen. They give you good banter as well.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what this is, but Steve's been cheeky, I think. But yeah, so we'll speak to you a little bit about what Nottingham season's been like. So I guess my first question would be, how do you find the season going, other than the fact that the referee problem's bad? How's your team doing? Is the recruitment been good? Have you started to pick up momentum as the season's went on?
Yeah, we've had quite a few new players this season, which is good. We started out the season really well. We won his first game against DC by quite a decent margin, and we started to implement lots of new things over the off season, like coming off the COVID year of playing teams like this first game in the COVID year was Sheffield at home, and you're thinking we're Div 2 down here, Sheffield up here. So first half we sweat out right, we're going to give it to them, give it best we can, and ended up being 49-0 at first half. Recouped that sideline at half time, won second half 7-0. So we're taking that as a positive. But yeah, this season we've had his ups and downs. Obviously, winning the first game, then going into play Darlington, thought we might be on a level playing field, and they humbled us. We, in his own camp, thought, oh, these guys pushed Gateshead to a good game, but we'll be able to do something, and they humbled us. So this weekend, we as a team are collectively out to get a zone back on Darlington, but in a nice way, not in a try and hurt people way. Just play a good game of football, hopefully get the result we want.
Yeah, and the thing is that's all you can do. You can go out and play against these guys and do your best. And like I guess it's a fact of as long as you learn from the first game and try and implement stuff to try and nullify their biggest threats and then take advantage of their weaknesses, then so you can really ask. And sometimes like there's teams that are just better than others, and we've come up against that at times where we've played and we've thought, oh, Jesus, no matter what we put in here, this team is just better. East Kilbride are a prime example of that. When we played them. But it is, as long as you guys like are going out and enjoying it as a team and you're going out trying to better the result from last time, then that's all you can really ask. Chris is on your side here. He's another big, tall, ginger bearded man. So the big
offensive lineman as well.
Is he? He's not defensive.
Well, he does both. He's pretty good at both, to be fair to him.
Yeah. So
I remember him from the defensive line side.
Yeah. So see, from us terms of Yorkshire Rams kind of setting up their academy and then joining Leeds, has that had a positive or negative spin on what you guys can do as recruitment? Because from like our point of view, it could have been both. Like you could have had players that wanted to go to the next level and play with the Rams, and then players that wanted to come and still play in Division 2. Has that affected your guys' recruitment process at all?
We have a few players that have come from at least Bobcats. As you probably see, some of his promo pictures have some nice gold helmets in now rather than all black, which will be changed. So I want them to change them. But yeah, the way we've seen it is, the team is obviously we didn't expect the Bobcats to fold at the start of the year, so they were going to be like, oh look, it's a good rivalry match of Leeds, not only the 20 minutes apart on M62. So that took a big shock when they went and folded. But then I suppose it's like a blessing and a curse, because then now all of our away games are over an hour. It's like hard to get like local refs, like you say with that. But then we have had some really good talent that's come in from the Bobcats. Like our new QB was a Bobcat, and like he's like taught the rest of the team so much more, just because it's a different angle of looking at it. Because a lot of our focus were quite heavy run play with the odd deep pass. Now it's more, we can spread it out because we've got a QB with he can easily throw 70 yards.
Yeah.
In a deep spiral as well. So it's just helped his offense change. And even like the schemes they ran at Bobcats, they've like started to implement things like that into our game. And it's just helped us as a team learning a better offense and a better defense. And so it's like amalgamated into us getting better as a team.
Yeah, I bet, especially at QB, if your QB has a knowledge level above the norm, then it massively helps your team. You can see that in Premier football. You can see it in the Division 1 and Division 2. Like you tend to find that if you can find a guy that knows football really well and knows the scheme inside out and can help teach other players, then it elevates the entire team. And then if you're on the offense and you've now got a bit of rhythm, it keeps the defense on the sideline for longer. They're fresher. They can come after the opposition a bit more. So it all links in together. So your team are playing a lot better.
I've played before at university level with the guys playing QB now, and when we were at university, he actually started out as a cornerback. So he's been a cornerback, then gone and progressed. Learned off it. Went to Bobcats and became a running back, and then worked his way up and being the quarterback. So it's like natural progression.
That sounds familiar, Chris. I never got to QB, but I had played every other position on that list.
Well, thankfully, you never got to QB.
The other week at training, we had quite a few personnel missing. Like it was like weddings and all sorts of season now. Some of our kids are going on holiday, and so I had one drive at QB. Did it absolutely pitch perfect to play action fake, but then got to throw the ball. It just went to someone's feet, and I'm just curled in the ball. And then, no, why have I done that? But everyone bit on the fake. That's all I'm proud about.
Yeah, it's a different game at QB, and I know that most folk will say, "Oh, the QB most important position in sports," but it really is on the majority of teams. Don't get me wrong, that you get teams even in the NFL that have an average QB and can get all the way to the Super Bowl. But if you want to win the Super Bowl, you need that guy, you know.
QB.
But in Britball, it's a totally different world. If you don't have a QB that's like even the slightest bit decent, and it's a massive struggle.
So yeah, like you say, your teams get. If you have a decent running back, teams will just swarm that. The defense will swarm the running back. If you have a QB that knows what he's doing and can, especially being athletic now, you see most of the NFL. You look at your QBs that are doing well now, like your Lamar Jacksons and your Mahomes. They've got the ability to run as well as throw a ball down the field.
Yeah,
so that's what it is now. It's not just.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. As I say, even in our leagues, it makes a big difference. So I guess how many games have you got left this season?
We have two away games, Darlington and Gateshead, I believe.
So quite a tough run in. So I'm guessing that you're just looking to give them a game, try and go out and beat them, finish off the season. Then are you going to go straight back into recruitment for next year and try and build the squad up?
Yeah, we're still recruiting now. To be fair, we've just never stopped recruiting. We find that's the best way. Like we had, even though one of his latest posts we're training this last Sunday. We had the rugby club had a youth rugby tournament on, and just like one of the lads wandered over with his granddad and said, "Oh, I love American football, me. I can't wait to be the age he's playing." So it's just all like that, getting into like the local communities, and eventually, like, we are thinking about setting up a youth structure, but it's like with having like Sheffield Academy nearby and like the things that the Assassins are doing. That's what we can only dream of at the minute.
Yeah,
like their structure, like the Titans especially, and the Leeds Academy of American football. That's what our aim is, but that's like a long way down the road at the minute because we're only like a small community club at the moment.
Yeah, and even like I think a lot of teams when they start junior, they should actually start flag because it's so much cheaper. It's so much cheaper and easier to run than contact. And then even if you start with that and then a good group come through there, maybe then you can open it up to contact level and stuff like that. But like, yeah, there is a lot of teams that just can't do a junior team just purely because of the size of the local area and stuff. And if you can even if you could start up a small flag team, I mean, what do you need? Five for a flag team, Chris? Is it?
No? Yeah, something like that.
I know nothing about flag.
Yeah, I know. We know very little about flag, but I think it's it's 5 players, so it's not like you need a huge turnout to be able to field a flag team. And leagues and that should be much easier to run than the contact side. So, all those things are great. They're all ways to improve your club. So hopefully those things come through. Now, I don't know how much you know about the show, Jack, but what we do is we go through a number of different things from here. So first of all, I'm going to bring up the screen and we're going to go through our little slideshow, let's say. There isn't much on it this week, but there is a scumbag on it this week. There should actually be two. Actually, there should be two scumbags on it this week, Chris. Because someone said there was a scumbag deserved from last week.
I can't remember who it was, though.
I know who it is. I know exactly who it is. And the reason that these guys are getting scumbagged is a shame because they won their first game in ages. But that's because they didn't play any of the fucking big boys. So that's why they're getting scumbagged. So first of all, congratulations on your first win in ages, the Sauce. But you're getting scumbagged for winning a game after pulling out a 2 against better teams. Like, that's a no-no. So obviously we on this we don't have we have cancelled games this week. Southeast Squadron have pulled out saying they've not got a big enough team, which again is bonkers. Unless you're COVID ridden, then realistically you don't get to get to avoid the scumbag section. So that's us in there. Everything else has been fine. It's been avoided. The next thing we go into is play of the week. So we've got from week 13-14. Thought about including GB under 19s, but we've not. The one thing is the YouTube video just bounces because it's so massive. It just doesn't load on here. So, but the other thing is that we normally don't do anything outside of the actual Britball team. So, again, this is the bit where like and share, try and get as many folk to see these plays as we can. Jack, for you, so what we do, we've got 3 plays here. We'll show the 3 plays. We each get 1 vote, and we pick a winner out of those ones. Okay, so we've got 3 plays here. The first one is another entry from Nottingham. So Nottingham have had a load this season, and they had a couple again this last week. Oh yeah, look, here we go. Need a shithousery section. Yeah, well, scumbags are section, but yeah, it's the same thing. Shithousery.
I can't help but notice straight away before you even get a chance to play any of this film that they're clearly playing on some kind of desert. I don't know in what decade the grass died, but it wasn't this one.
Well, the thing is I don't know if you've been watching the Open. Like, I mean, Oxford's QB will be, but I don't know if you've been watching the Open, but
is he not playing in it now?
the grass, even at the golf course is really like brown. So it's obviously just the heat is taking the toll. But anyway, Nottingham are playing here now. I'll play a clip through, and we can watch it through the second time. I'll explain some stuff. So this is the clip here. Hopefully, it's not too jumpy.
Yeah, it's a wee bit choppy, but not more than usual.
Yeah, my internet's a bit dodgy today. So QB takes the handoff, keeps it himself, makes 1 cut, 2 cuts, massive over pursue, cuts back to the other side, runs in the end zone. So again, like, this is another great play by a QB from Nottingham. Like, we've seen a load of these in the past few weeks, but this has got a number of different plays. So let's try to stop it here. So because best part of spread formation or bunch on one side. Going to get it here. QB's going to take the snap. Whole O-line's going to block down the way really well. Setting the edge. QB spots the hole. Good block here on the outside. Maybe slightly a block in the back, but it starts at the front. Reads the hole here. This whole lot of people over pursue the other way. He cuts back. They all fall on their backside, and he runs into the end zone. So
I would like to point out, it looked like his teammate almost tackled him just before he got into the end zone there when he went for his celebration. He was dangerously close to taking him out right before he crossed the goal line.
Yeah, I think he's across. I think it's just the jumpy nature of this video that's making it look, because this is where he's hugging him. Look, he's clearly over the line here.
You could just see it, could you? Like, after all that play, away to run in the end zone, and his own teammate trips him, raging.
Yeah, he would be fuming. The next one comes from a Sussex.
Play? Sorry.
Yeah.
That hits a bit close to home as a defensive point, because the first points we conceded this season were playing like a handoff to the outside, and the whole defense swarmed towards him. We thought the ref had blown the whistle as he's like running, like he got to point of contact, and we thought the ref would blow a whistle, and then he just sort of like does a U-turn and just runs to the other side of the field for a touchdown. We're all like, no.
One of my, in fairness, Jack, one of my favourite touchdowns, and bearing in mind I didn't rush for many in my career, is when I went under centre and got the entire defensive line to jump, and because they jumped, they all stood up and stopped, and I just went straight through the middle. But the whistle never went, but they all were like, "Oh no," and turned away, and I just went straight through.
Yeah,
they were not,
here we go.
Not impressed.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Celebrate your first victory in 4 years. Get respect by putting the scumbag section first, skipping games.
Yeah, I still maintain I wish that game ended 0-0 for the weak sauce against the Drizzle, but hey-oh.
Yeah, no. The next one here's for Sussex Thunder. Now this is, I'll play this through the first time, and we'll if it'll actually load, and we'll go back to talk it through. So here, QB takes the snap, throws it up, good hand, 2 feet. Now again, what's really good about this play is a couple of things. I'm just going to let this run in here. So first of all, watch the receiver's first move. He moves in like he's getting the ball. Quick turn. DB gets left for dead here. This touch pass, guys in his face. Good touch pass over the top. High points, but then also he gets 2 feet in. Now we don't need to get 2 feet in, which I think is all the more impressive. He gets 2 feet in here and secures the catch all the way through. So this is just a really nice play, a nice good sell route, a good throw over the top, perfectly placed, and good catch with 2 feet in. So again, really solid play there, and really there's not much more we can say about that other than that it is a really good play. The last one comes from Northumberland Vikings versus Rams game. So I'll just play the play through again. It's a pain in the bum, this one, because I can't reset without letting it play through. So QB takes a step back, getting under pressure, throws it up. DB goes up and wins the ball for a touchback. Now, again here, yeah, the QB's facing pressure here. As I say, I can't zoom this on, so I've just to wait for it to reset. QB faces pressure here. I'll just stop it there from the Vikings defense. DB has good position the whole way. He's not been fooled by the move. This guy's too shallow, so he's got a shot. It's a one-on-one. DB reads the ball all the way through, high points it, wins the battle, and brings it down. Again, like really solid defensive back play from a safety. We know Connor. He's a really good safety. But going up and getting that ball in the end zone, obviously, at the time saved them from going 2 scores down. But it's 3 good plays this week, so we'll see which ones you'd like. So Jack, you're the guest, so you get first choice. Which one would you prefer?
See, I've got some bias in this because the first one reminds me too much of getting scored in the first game, and my previous team was the Yorkshire Rams before I moved to Nottingham, so I can't be having them getting this safety. So it's got to be number 2 for me.
Okay, so Jack's going for number 2. Chris, which number are you going for?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about all of them. I feel like every time we see one of these Caesars runs, it should win, and it never does because it always seems to get outdone by other ones. I like the Thunder one because it's a ball right on the sideline to where only his receiver can get it. With a too high safety look as well. It's a soft spot in the zone, but it's the hardest one to hit. But it's a good ball, a good catch, and he gets 2 feet in bounds. I can't really see in too much detail about the Vikings one, but it looks like an absolutely ludicrous catch from Connor, right at the back of the end zone as well. Like he's in position the whole way, but he still has to go up and make a pretty impressive grab. Not right in the back line.
Yeah, look how high he is.
Yeah. And I think it's just a really excellent example of DB play and sort of making the most of it. And given that it's in the red zone, in the end zone rather, it's a massive momentum shift. So I'm going to go with Connor.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm struggling not to give this one to Nottingham. We're all going to pick different ones here. I think this touch pass is excellent. I think it is. The only thing I'd say is obviously if I'm being picky, the DB, you shouldn't be fooled by the fact he does a stop step. But it is a good route. It's a good throw and it's a great catch. The Connor Joyce's play is crazy. It just gets so high in the air. I will say that again, he's in good position from the word go. It's not a hugely difficult read to get there, but the height he gets in the end zone and taking it down in that kind of position where it's 14-6 is obviously a massive turn. But I just can't see past Nottingham for this one. So the run all the way through, the blocking, the defense jumping the whole way across. For me, it's this one. Now we're tied, and we've not really had the tie before. So let's leave it to the comments here. I'll leave the first few comments to come up here and see which one we think should win from the comments. Now, obviously, I've picked Nottingham. Chris has picked Northumberland's interception, and Jack has picked the second one's catch. So, has anyone got any thoughts? And if they've not, I don't even have a coin. I do have a coin I can flip. If anyone has any thoughts, put this in. Oh, Steve, yours.
Steve.
If you want, I'll change mine to the Nottingham one.
Steve.
Just for that O-line blocking skill.
God damn, Steve.
Steve's obviously in a bit of a
Remember,
meme
this
right now.
This isn't Pete you're dealing with, Steve. There's no need to be that savage.
I'm going to get a coin. Wait a second.
Oh man, that's just brutality.
So we've got. Oh, what's Aaron going with?
Scott
giving out some change. Yeah, it's me. So what I'll do is I'll go first. First play versus second play. First play is tails. Second play is heads.
It's a rigged call.
Heads. So second play wins. So it's second play versus third play. Second's tails. Third's heads. Heads. So there you go. Connor Joyce's play of the week. Simplest way we could do it. So Connor will be our play of the week for his defensive grab here against the Yorkshire Rams. Again, let's say we know he makes plays, I guess, every week, I think. So, but it's nice to get one on video for him.
I've got your back, Connor. Don't you worry.
So we're on to our game of the week here. Our game of the week is a little. Again, we always pick our game of the week by who we think is going to be the closest game. Oxford versus Hertfordshire we thought that might have a shout for this, but we think that this game is going to be really close. Chris, do you want to go first? See what you think of this one?
I'm just quickly looking up the previous results from this game because I believe they've been close so far, haven't they? So the Renegades won at home 13-6, and then the Renegades won at home 20-14. Obviously, this time they're on the road. I still think it's literally it's been one score. It's been one score, but I just think the Renegades are just that tiny bit better. I think again it's going to be another. Thanks, Hunter. It's going to be another one-score game, but yeah, I'm going to pick the Renegades.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like the games have all been close, and it's been at home, and now they're going away. They're playing against East Kent away here. I've put this as a 14-10 victory to the Renegades, and if you look at the score predictions online, a lot of them are close. A lot of people reckon this is going to be close as well. I think the thing is this one here doesn't really have a huge amount riding on it. East Essex have pretty much wrapped up that division. It's probably a battle for second place here. But yeah, I think the Renegades sneak this one. Jack, who do you think's got this one?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan on biggest knowledge on Southern football, so I am basing this off purely. I used to have a friend who played for East Coast Mavericks, so why not go for them?
Honestly, we've had coin flips. We've had what else do we have, Chris? We had
we've had several different things.
Yeah, what was it? I can't remember what Jason did. Jason did something funny as well in here, but there's a few different ways of doing it. So honestly, if you don't know anything about these games that are about to come up, don't worry about it. Just pick any team you wish.
Yeah, I'll go East Kent then.
Yeah, so that's our game of the week. 2 picks for the Renegades and a pick for East Kent Mavericks, so that'll be interesting to see who wins that. Right, on to our other games. So we have no Poppelhofen this week yet. The first game this week, Chris won't say anything.
Same as usual.
Well, he won't pick for it. So it's Aberdeen Roughnecks versus the Clyde Valley Blackhawks. Obviously, two of my ex teams, one of Chris's present teams, and really this should be a good game. The away tie was really close when Aberdeen were away. Clyde Valley have got stronger as the seasons went on. They ran the Highland Stags close. They've had some decent results. They put up some points against some of the weaker teams. The Roughnecks looked really good at the start of the season. We're 3-0. Lost to the Stags, but that was no real shame. And then a couple of weeks ago, they got beat quite heavily to Dumfries away from home. And I guess it wasn't unexpected. The Roughnecks would have went into that game as favourites. It'll be an interesting game purely because I want to see what size of squad Clyde Valley bring up. If they bring up a decent squad, they are physical, big offensive line, couple of really decent players on offense and defense. And the Roughnecks are the same. The Roughnecks have when they've got all their players, they have a decent interior line, some good skill players, some really good hitters on defense. So it should be a really close game. I don't expect a high scoring game, maybe 5 touchdowns total, but I think this week I'm probably going to side with Aberdeen just to sneak this one. Chris, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of covered everything I would say there. You know how physical Clyde Valley are. They're a good team. They've got a lot of talent on that team. I played with them last year, so I know what they're capable of. So yeah, it should be a really competitive game. Both teams will be prepared, and we're just looking forward to it.
Yeah, Jack, who do you want to pick in this one?
I am going to side with Aberdeen because I know they have had the experience of playing in higher tiers. So obviously they were in Div 1 the year. They haven't been relegated, but plus travelling to Aberdeen's, I know even for anyone, even for the local teams, it's still a trek in it still. So
there is no such thing as a local team to Aberdeen. Let's be fair.
Remember the Rams when they travelled up? They said they ended up just booking a hotel the night before. It's the easiest way of doing it rather than
when we went down to play the Rams, we booked to stay the night. So we travelled down first thing in the morning, played, and then stayed overnight, and then came back the next day.
Night out, Gotta get a night out in. But no, it should be a good game, that one. Not the longest travel, but it's still a fair bit. Next one should be a blowout. No real nothing really to say about this one. Bristol Apache versus Torbay Trojans. Bristol have looked like the best team in the division. They did, however, come up against a much better opponent in Somerset a couple of weeks back. Give them a really close game. So they'll be looking to go off and really go up against Torbay and thump them, get their offense rolling again, and see what they can do there, leading themselves into towards the playoffs. But yeah, it shouldn't even be close. Chris?
Yeah, this game's a bit like a broken pencil. It's pointless. I mean, Bristol are just they're the best team in that division, and Torbay are just a bit of a mess at the moment. So it's going to be pretty painful, I reckon. And that's the thing, and that is the thing, Aaron. Like they're still playing the game, and when we're saying what we're saying about them, it's not about sort of kicking them while they're down. I'm hoping they improve, over the coming years, especially because they're sticking it out. But for this game, it's just not. It's going to be one-sided.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, you've got to say Bristol really. Well, the one thing that Torbay will take from this is they'll use it as a learning experience more than anything else. They'll probably try and go and work for the win, though you will use it as a learning. Like when any Div 2 team who was just setting out plays anyone who's an established team, you use it as like a yardstick. So they'll say how many years time will it take us to be at that level? So
Yeah,
I just have a good measure and stick in it really.
Yeah, it is. And you just need to take each game as it comes and try and get better every week. Next one's down the south coast as well. Now, judging by Somerset's play against Bristol last week, you've got to favour Somerset here. They clearly look like they're a slightly different level. They've already beat Cornwall this year, fairly comfortable. This time it is away from home. Down in the south coast, it might be hot this week, but I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference. I think Somerset will win this one pretty comfortably. Chris?
Yeah, I've just seen Aaron's comment that there's no refs for this game.
Oh yeah, I sent this to you earlier, did I?
Yeah.
They only got told today. Was that it? They only got told today or something. There's no
I'm glad to see lessons were learned after the convention last week. We're taking steps. Quality. Yeah, as I say, like this division is sort of Bristol Apache with, Somerset just a little bit below them. And then sort of there's that gap, and then it's everybody else. So Somerset are the second best team in this division, and they should win this game.
Yeah. Jack?
Yeah, same, Somerset. He's got what he wants to win.
Yeah, this next one had a bit of confusion over it. There was a post I was saying it was going to be cancelled, but I think that's for next week.
How have you already cancelled next week's game? Like this is utterly inexcusable. How have you already cancelled next week's game?
I'm going to guess that they've cancelled it because there must be a function on or something. They know they're going to have no players, but that's still ridiculous. Like you should have told them that at the start of the season.
Like I don't get it. I don't get how you can just be like could you imagine just like looking at the schedule in April and going, ooh, don't like the look of that game on, the 17th of July. Well, just forfeit. What? No, that's not how this works.
Well, there's no consequences. Yeah, 2 refs and 1 international ref for the Monarchs game, so it looks like they have. Probably someone's getting married. Half the team are. Yeah, and this thing, if half the team's getting married,
half the team are getting married.
Yeah, half the team are going to. Yeah, half the team are getting married. If half the team are going to a wedding, then surely that's one of the dates you have to put into BAFA to say we can't manage this game. And if you have, and they've said it fair, we're just going to put one anyway. Then all right, fair enough. But it's still.
See, that is the case sometimes. Those are rescheduled games. We played 2 teams 3 times now because of the Bobcats falling out. So everyone's made plans for when we're playing the Bobcats. And then BAFA's just turned around and gone, oh, you're playing Darlington on this day and Gateshead on this day. So the last Gateshead game we were meant to play, it was one of the players' stag do's. So quite a few of the team were there, especially some of the coaching staff, which is why we really struggled to get coaching staff to ref the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the thing is like we shouldn't be having to ref the game, so that's totally different story.
True.
But yeah, it's with the players one, it's always a bit strange. Some teams just don't manage to pull teams together, but refs is a different story. Next one here again.
We never actually picked winners though.
Did you not pick a winner?
No, so I was too mad about the fact that they cancelled the game next week. Yeah, I mean, I had high hopes for Crewe. I mean, they took their lumps last year in the COVID season, but they seemed to make some progress. I kind of thought they'd go into this division with a good chance of finishing second, which in any normal year would have meant playoffs, but BAFA and their infinite wisdom changed things 3 weeks into the season. They won their first game against Lee and looked quite comfortable doing so, and then since then it has taken a nosedive off a cliff again. And it looks like they're probably going to finish bottom of this division, so it's going to be Lee for me.
Yeah, and this, like I do kind of stand with them when they say that they don't want to take the field if there's no actual refs. I understand why, but don't then pull out of a game because you don't have enough players, because you look bad. So like, too right, like I don't disagree with you if you don't have refs and you don't feel like it's a fair game or you don't feel that you'll be safe, then fair enough. But don't then pull out of a game because you don't have enough players, because you're going to get like roasted. I know they've been roasted online already, but they're going to get worse, I think. Red and yellow system, yeah, I know.
See, I won't name names or point fingers and name names, but I heard something about, and I don't know how true any of this is. It could all be something different, but I heard something to do with the people that made the decision, or people that were involved in making the decision to take away the red and yellow card system, are actually part of teams that forfeited games this year.
Oh yeah, I seen something about that online as well. So
And
someone was saying that some of the people that are involved in the committee to take away the yellow and red card system are on teams that have forfeited,
I mean, they
which
should
is
surely they should not
which
be
is
allowed to make any decision anymore. Like, go away. Like, if that's your
yeah.
decision and you're involved in a team that forfeits, get straight in the bin.
I don't know how true it is, but like we're just saying we've seen stuff
Yeah,
online. Like I have seen that as well. It's saying that some of the people that were involved in making that decision were from teams that have now forfeited. So if that's the case, like that's so wrong on so many levels.
because if that's the case, it sounds very much like, oh, we might be in trouble this year a little bit. Quick, change the rules.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seems like. But yeah, in this game here, I can't see past Lee here. I think Lee are on the up. I think Crew at the moment are on the down. So
I thought
I
we were
think that
finally
they're
going
going
to
to
get
win.
a Crew over 500 season this year, and it's just not happened.
No, Jack.
Yeah, I'm going with Lee. I know a couple of guys from my time at uni who are now based over in that area, and like they've worked hard to get where they are. So I don't
Yeah,
disrespect to Crew, but yeah, I'm going with Lee.
we had them on a couple of weeks ago, and they were on a high, and they were picked as their first favourites in the loss, and I was like, no, I think that
I picked the Surge.
yeah, so you did, yeah, but I think they'll come back here. I think they'll win this one. Next one should be a fairly easy pick again. I can't see past Gateshead here now. I know there might be a hoo-ha between Gateshead and Darlington here for the division title. So Gateshead basically need to show up and win every game, I think, and see what happens. DC, DC have got a fair bit of respect from a lot of people. But as I say, we've known them to come in and out of the league all the time, and if they're showing up with plenty of bodies every week and everything, fair enough. But they just aren't very good. They've struggled all this season. They've been well and truly beat by every team in their league. So I can't see that changing. I see unless Gateshead had already completely switched off and decided all to go on holiday. I can't see them losing to DC this weekend. Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. Gateshead are by far the better team. DC are struggling. They've already dropped out of a game already this year, haven't they? Or am I
Yeah, they
making
dropped
that up?
out a game against us.
Yeah, they dropped out of a game this year. It's a mess across the board. As you know, so Gateshead just need to keep winning. As for the whole Darlington Gateshead thing, did I or did I not state this on the show a couple of weeks ago that might be what happens?
Thanks. There you go. Darren's watching.
But did I or did I not say that's
You
what might
actually,
happen?
I actually wish I took a clip of this. You actually did say that you thought this might
I
happen.
said that's what might happen, and honestly, it is, for lack of a better expression, it is fucking criminal that is going to
Yeah,
happen. It
it
is
is
so
bad.
criminal that's going to happen, man. And again, all because we can't provide referees for games.
Yeah, and it's bonkers, is it? Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Shouldn't have
exactly,
played.
exactly,
Shouldn't have played it.
exactly. You know what I mean? It's so bad.
Yeah,
And I feel for Darlington because they put the effort in. They lost by 2 points to Gateshead. They came back. They beat them by a higher margin. They're flying high. A good chance to go in the playoffs, looking strong, and it just looks like they've been absolutely shafted, and it's so poor.
yeah.
It is so
But
poor.
it is. It's brutal, and the thing is like it's not great, and the thing is that Gateshead are probably going to benefit from this, but they need to go out and win as well. So, um, yeah, this one's a bit closer to home for you, Jack. So, you'll be able to give us a bit of an insight into these teams that you've played both of them.
Yeah, so our first game of the season was against DC, and to start with, it seemed like they knew what they were doing, but then it got to the point where it seemed to be certain individuals made plays, like their DA, they were playing D end, big number 99. He's just an athlete, a mountain of a man. They put him in at running back at one play, and as soon as he got past defensive line, he just went and gone, and then got tackled into the end zone and did a somersault. So I'd never seen a D lineman do a front flip before, but that was a first for me.
Sounds like an athlete that. Like I can't do a 4-flip. A guy playing defensive line could do it. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I think the rumor is he's a ex-GB basketball player or something like that. So he's just a big, strong, athletic guy.
Yeah. Shame he's not playing tight end. It's like the basketball players.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Paul Bohoff, because this is exactly what we're talking about. 3 years out the league, 3 years out the league, 2 years out the league. Yeah, I mean it's grim, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yes, Aaron has a good point. Jack, if you go win on Sunday, then this will all be mute. But yeah, at the same point, like it's a shame.
I think we put it to Baffer, so because of both our games have been the game we played against Gateshead, which we had to forfeit, and Darlington game, which they had to forfeit, put it to Baffer so we could make them both double headers, so it wouldn't really matter. Or we'd play half as a game and then the second half as a separate game. But they just said no. Rules are rules. If they can't provide the refs, then.
But surely, right? Knowing the situation, Baffa, look. I appreciate I may be reaching and maybe assuming more common sense here than I probably should. But there's 2 games, right, that directly affect. Now, yes, please understand. I get the point. If if Nottingham beat Darlington this weekend, it means nothing anyway. I get it. But let's just for a minute have a look at the situation as it is. You've got the Gateshead Senators and Nottingham game not able to go ahead. You've got the Darlington game and Nottingham not able to go ahead. Now, you know for a fact that both games are to do with referees, right? Now, you know that there's a high chance that with those 2 games that's going to dictate the playoffs, where it should be Darlington and then Gateshead, and Darlington should go to the playoffs. Why not make them both 0-0 ties? Problem solved.
Yeah, but that would make too much sense.
Like, I don't get it. You've got that. Make them both 0-0 draws. That'd be the end of it. It's absolutely ludicrous. It really is. As I said, it might not mean anything after this weekend. I don't know. But it really, really annoys me, stuff like that, because it's just so stupid, man. It really is.
It's like one of the points we made at one of the training sessions is, when was the last time you heard a Prem team having to go, oh, guys, we need rest for this weekend? Like, we all pay the same fees to Baffer or Bath, and then it seems to be the lower tiers that get shafted by it.
I think one thing I had a laugh with during the university season, I coached my first season in uni, and I know uni ball's different because a lot of the referees are away and stuff, and it's not Baffa. But every week it was like, Aberdeen can self-ref their game because they're further away. And I was like, you realise that's the worst logic I've ever heard, right? Because we're furthest away from everybody else. So we can't lean on other teams to give us coaches to referee. Whereas Edinburgh were getting referees every week. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. They've got teams like the Wolves and the Kings, and there was Napier and Heriot Watt, and there was other Edinburgh teams, and then there's the Glasgow teams, which aren't that far away. And I was like, so why would you give the referees to the people with heaps of teams around them that can help, instead of giving it to the team that has no one around them that can help? It makes no sense to me whatsoever, but that's why I don't make the decisions, because apparently common sense is illegal.
Because none of the buggers want to travel, that's the problem. None of them want to come up here. Just a few comments here. Yeah, you can tell Sam Bloomfield that one.
That was hilarious, though, by the way.
Yeah,
I loved everything about
it. One from Dad. Baffa changed the playoff situation has clearly impacted on why teams are quitting games because they maybe feel there's no reason to play. It's well clear to make playoffs. Still should be man enough to play, and it is. Yeah, it's annoying. It really is. Like, especially one of the things that I've always moaned about is that you shouldn't be allowed to transfer after a month. You shouldn't really be allowed to transfer after you've played a game for a team, in my opinion. You've had from September the following season to April the following year to actually choose a team, go to training, see what they're like. You could have tried out 4 teams in that time and settled on one. once you play for a team, you should not be allowed to transfer. Like that's just the way it should happen. And realistically, that would cut a lot of this out in case of, oh well, we're not going to make the playoffs, but the team across the road might, so let's jump ship. And that happens so much in Britball that it should definitely be stopped. The original game was the week after the GB game. It was that congested fixture weekend. We couldn't get any refs. Why? Because they're all
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, Darren. It shouldn't fall on you guys to find people to referee every week. That's not what it's not what you're doing. Your coaches are there to coach, right? It's such a mental situation. But as Steve Rain said earlier, there's now 22 teams on the list of people that have written to BAFA.
Add
yourself to the list. Add yourself to the list, please, because the more voices that are heard, the better it is for everyone. I mean, like, there's so many teams that have been so badly affected by all this and haven't put their team's name on it yet. You have to, because
it's one way of thinking about it.
And that's one way to do it, isn't it?
But yeah,
you can only transfer twice in a year.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. But yeah, you're right, Chris. But yeah, for teams that are struggling with this and have had this problem, don't just sit there and go, "Oh, well, we're okay." Well, you're not, because eventually it's going to affect you in one way or another.
Yeah, we've managed to referee all our games ourselves this year, so it's not an issue for us. Well, it is an issue for you because you're having to referee your own games,
and it might come up at a point where you end up in this situation.
And I spoke to Chris Stricklaw, whose comment popped up earlier when we played them the other week, and as I said, take nothing away, they beat us off the park, right? We didn't deserve to win. They dominated us in the trenches. But some of the decisions we had in that game were absolutely catastrophic. We had an intentional grounding call because the ball never passed the line of scrimmage, but it hit off the back of a tight end. And they said there was no receiver in the area.
Yeah.
I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is actually wrong with you?
The thing is, it's people that there's a lot of people, particularly in Division 2, coaches that are just level 1 coaches or their helpers, and they come in, they don't really know much at all. Like we've seen that firsthand. We've went to people and some of the stuff they've said, we've been like, "Are you actually joking me?" And don't have a Scooby. So then these are the people that are now reffing your games. So
we had another one earlier on where they were playing sort of only like a one receiver each side set, right? So obviously he has to be on the line. And we got flagged for our cornerback being offside. And they said, oh, he was across the line of scrimmage. And I said, well, if he's across the line of scrimmage, the receiver is off the line of scrimmage. Therefore, it's an illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield. No, that's not how it works. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The problem is in a lot of these, especially in Division 2, there'll be a lot of people that are now reffing games that I don't have a Scooby. Like, I reffed a game a couple of weeks ago, and I would say I have a firm grasp of what the rules are in American football. I've been watching it since I was a young boy, and I still don't know everything. But I can give out a fair go as to what everything is and know most of the signals. But there'll be folk out there that have not a clue what's going on.
From someone, I consider myself to be particularly rules savvy, right? I spend a lot of time trying to learn what the rules of the games are. And I consider myself to be quite a rules conscious individual when it came to the sport. And I did my BAFRA training and realized I didn't know squat. And I knew a hell of a lot more than most.
Yeah,
and that's the worrying thing. And the problem with this thing is, and we've said it 100 times before, is see if a hold gets missed. You know what?
Fine.
At football, this happens. Even BAFRA officials might not see all of these things. But the problem is that calls like the ones we've experienced obviously lead to frustration, which is never good. But not just from that side of things. It's also the element of safety fouls, because if safety fouls start getting missed, someone gets hurt, right? And we've seen how dangerous this sport is. I mean, we all seen the Instagram story from the player from Tamworth which, speedy recovery to him. Honestly, I felt sick watching it and still watched it about 100 times with a broken arm that was like a Z. And, that's not through like foul play or anything. That's just football. We know how severe injuries can be. And asking people that don't understand the rules to referee a game that can lead to serious injuries is just the most stupid thing I've ever heard. It's just mental.
Bafra Crew didn't call anybody hit. Yeah.
But that's the thing, it has to be. It has to be the safety side.
Yeah, it's brutal. Darren's saying there, not only have been spot. Here you go, Jack. So obviously Nottingham not only have been part of this, so you guys have been fine enough. It's just that it's not used. It's Baffa. We know
exactly.
It's Baffa.
It's not Nottingley. It's not Darlington. It's not Gateshead. Like it's Baffa.
Yeah. Actually, do these guys not get to go in a scumbag section as well this week?
Please let this game be a 0-0 draw. Please they do not deserve to win.
Do this lot not deserve to go in scumbag section this week?
Both of them pulled out of their games. Pulled out of games because Doncaster pulled out at the 11th hour after we had the Alphas head coach. Was it, or was it GM?
It's GM. Yeah.
We had the Alphas GM on here getting ready for their game, and they had like a barbecue thing coming down and everything. And then literally about an hour after we came off the show, it was announced that Doncaster had pulled out of the game.
Yeah.
Just absolute shithousery of the highest order.
So who are you calling here? Are you calling a winner, or are you hoping?
I want a 0-0 draw. None of them deserve to win.
Yeah. Honestly, I've put Doncaster in the scumbag section here as well. I missed them out. Warwick will be raging that I missed them out. So Doncaster getting scumbagged as well. And it's not Division 3, it's Scumbag Division. And we've now named it. It's a Scumbag Division. No, you haven't. It's last. I'll get there in a minute, Darren. The self-efficient guidelines emphasise the safety calls, but it was only ever introduced as a backstop emergency.
And as we say, but the problem with that is that some guys don't even know what the safety calls are meant to be. And furthermore to that, the hardest bit of actual officiating is knowing where to look. Because naturally everyone goes, ooh, the ball. And that's not where you're meant to be looking. So a lot of the safety calls get missed because you don't even know where you're supposed to be looking.
Yeah. Doncaster are going to pull a sauce here, and they're going to pull out of a game against a tough team to hammer a shitty team. So Doncaster is going to win this one comfortably.
So this is Jack, what this is the Doncaster Ponies against the South Link Sparks. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't understand what's sort of gone wrong at Doncaster, because when we played them last year in the COVID year, we were at home with them for a fair bit, but we had 4 or 5 COVID things like the week before. So I mean, I was playing both D end and left tackle against Donny, and it was like 35 degrees. Everyone was just dying of heat stroke, and then they just had more players on the pitch at that point at the end of the game. So I really can't see what's gone wrong at Doncaster unless they've lost key players. I know
their QB went to Yorkshire.
Yeah, QB went to, I think a couple of others must have gone with him. But their O-line and D-line, they were pretty good. I know
big lads.
They had an American guy who seemed to be really good at right tackle. But yeah, so I can't really see. I'm just going to slightly edge Doncaster 2-0. Why not?
I actually named this game wrong. It should be the Doncaster Donkeys against the South Link Static.
Yeah,
that's more accurate. There we go.
Scumbag game.
0-0.
Dunfermline Kings versus Highland Stags. Shouldn't really be a contest this one either. Highland Stags have been the best team in that division. Look really strong. They were run close in one game against Clyde Valley. The Roughnecks gave them a game, but were outscored fairly comfortably. They'll be looking for kind of getting themselves over the line and getting themselves ready for playoffs now. Try to maintain a ranking spot where they are. Try and get as high as they can. So Highland Stags to win this one fairly comfortably. Chris, I can't tell if he's.
This is my internal screaming face. This game could get extremely ugly. The Stags are a very good team. They're a physical football team. Realistically, the Stags' sole job the rest of the way is to not concede points. Right, they need to keep that points against per game down. But this This is going to be grim, to be honest.
Yeah. Here you go. It's no longer pray for Donny, it's down with Donny. Jack, what do you think? Who you got?
Yeah, you can't put anything past Stags this year. They've just been one of the best teams in the north, really. So it's the way they're playing, so yeah, you can't really knock them, can you? So go with Stags.
Yeah. Next one here, Hereford Stampede versus the Sauce. The Sauce are obviously coming off their first win in 4 years. And Hereford have already beaten them comfortably. So it shouldn't really be a contest. This one, Hereford have been the next best team to Northants this year, and clearly are of a different league to the Sauce at the moment. So Hereford for me. Chris?
Yeah, it doesn't matter that they won their first game last week. They're going to get stomped.
Yeah. Jack?
Yeah, same. Hereford.
Yeah, easy.
Breed a cow in it, so why not?
Yeah. Easy. Yeah, easy decision there.
Easy picks.
Just make sure that's comment
Aaron's
before.
comment. Yeah, exactly. It's another team that were hurt by it. You'd certainly argue that the Somerset Wyverns will feel hard done by.
Could still
Hereford
make it. Aaron won't hear it, but could still make it.
Yeah, that Hereford, they'll be another one feeling hard done by. At the end, Darlington's team, if everything goes the way we're thinking it'll go, with regards to forfeits, etc., then yeah, they'll feel hard done by. Even Lee Miners, they're going to end up feeling a little bit hard done by in the end as well.
Yeah. Ipswich Cardinals versus Colchester Gladiators. It's been an interesting one. Norwich are clearly the best team in that division, but everybody else has run each other pretty close. Ipswich are at home. They played fairly well last couple of weeks, and Colchester at the start of the season, I thought would rival Norwich, and they just haven't. Ipswich being at home, I think, gives them advantage. I'm going to pick Ipswich for this one, I think. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think outside of Norwich, I've probably picked every game in this division wrong so far. I've certainly not had a good year for this division at all. So I picked. I picked. Where are they? Have I lost it? I was trying to double check who I'd actually picked for this game. Colchester. I went with the Colchester Gladiators. So no doubt it'll be Ipswich Cardinals.
Jack?
Yeah, I have seen odd tiny bits from like different divisions. The one I always see is like Ipswich have seemed very well promoted, and then they have made splash plays like here and there. So that's why I'm going with Ipswich. I've not seen as much from Colchester, so that's purely what I'm basing this on.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one, that one. It was potential for the play game of the week. So was this one. Lincolnshire Bombers versus Humber Warhawks. Really close game the first time. Lincolnshire, until a couple of weeks ago, were undefeated. They came up against Scunthorpe. They lost. Scunthorpe just went into another gear in the second half, beat them. But they're still in with a shot. They could still go to Scunthorpe at the end of the season and win and get a playoff spot. So they have everything to play for. I think that they will edge this one. I think Humber will play it close, but I think they've got to travel. I think Lincolnshire will edge it. Chris?
Yeah, another team that have suffered at the hands of the playoff change, the Bombers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close game last time. I do think Lincolnshire are the better side. They're at home this time round. I think they win. It'll be tight, but I think they win.
Yeah. Jack?
See, I know players from both teams, and I also know Lincolnshire did lose quite a few players, or a couple of players at least, to Sheffield. So I know I played Humber a lot more, and I know quite a few more of their players. So that's why I'm going to go Humber to do a bit of an upset.
All right. Yeah, Chris had a confused face there. Chris, Lincolnshire's not far from Sheffield.
Yeah, but at this time of the season with Sheffield, the way
No,
they
it
are
was
this
start
year.
of the season.
Start of the season.
Oh, right. I was proper confused there. I was like, why would you choose now? That seems weird, but
yeah,
that makes more sense.
I was thinking maybe that's why Sheffield have kicked on the last couple of weeks. Next game here, Ouse Valley Eagles versus Norwich Devils. Now, Norwich have to be careful. Norwich are currently in the top 4 for the playoffs, seeding spots. They've played well all season. They've won all their games. Ouse Valley don't really concede many points, especially at home. but they really struggle to score any. So in this thing, Norwich just need to get up early and then not make any errors. They're another team. They just need to try and concede as little points as possible at the end of the season. Chris?
Yeah, and as I say, I've done a horrible job on this division all year, but I'm pretty sure I've backed Norwich every game so far, and they've not let me down yet. So let's go Norwich.
Yeah, it's Chris. Jack?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on paper, you just got to say Norwich. You know, you say Uswell like points against have been pretty good at home. And like you say, Norwich get a couple of run-ins early, then it makes Uswell chase the game. Then it makes it easy for Norwich's defense.
Yeah, pin their ears back.
James, I'll pick this one up. So there used to be an NFC 2 final and an SFC 2 final. So the top two teams from the three conferences, what used to be three conferences, and then the two blessed third place teams went to the playoffs. So you had an 8-team playoff in the north and the south, and then there was a north final and a south final. And the two finalists got promoted to Division 1. But they moved it to 4 conferences, so common sense would have suggested all the teams were thinking that it was just the top 2 from every conference goes to the playoffs as usual. But after game week 3, BAFA came out with an announcement that they'd restructured the whole playoffs for Division 2. It's now a national final, and only the top teams from the 4 conference go to the playoffs, like, as I say, 3 weeks into the season. Like, don't get me wrong, Division 2 having a national final is great, but announcing that 3 weeks in the season is just another example of utter stupidity.
Yeah. Next one here, another one that was in shout out game of the week. So Oxford Saints versus Hertfordshire Cheetahs. Oxford ran Hertfordshire close last time away from home. They have had a way better season than they did in 2021. They look fairly strong. They have some really good players. Hertfordshire have a really stout defense, really struggled on offense. Biggest concern for Oxford is obviously that the Open's on. But outside of that, I think that this is going to be a close game. I actually think Oxford's going to sneak this one. So I'm going to. I think I've actually, this. I think I'm being rubbish. I think I've actually picked Hertfordshire in the picks. But I don't know. I think if Oxford have their full team out, I think they're going to sneak this one. So I'm going to pick both. I'm going to pick Oxford in this chat anyway. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it all year. The Hertfordshire defense is just different level. Unfortunately, the Hertfordshire offense is just no level. They've relied so heavily on their defense to get them through these games. And even in games where they've had 3 pick sixes like they did against Oxford last time, they still almost struggled. They very nearly failed to win that game as well. Or it was 2 pick sixes and a kick return touchdown or something, but defense, special teams. And honestly, Hertfordshire are playoff bound, and I think they'll win this weekend, but they need to do something because that offense is on life support right now, and they need to jumpstart it, or they're not going to go anywhere. As incredible as all they need is for their offense to be functional.
Yeah, and don't turn the ball over too much. Score 2 touchdowns a game.
I mean, you even look at their loss to Rushmore a couple of weeks ago. The Cheetahs quarterback threw 6 interceptions, including one of the worst pick sixes I have ever seen in my life. And, they still didn't lose that much. It's just they need to do something with that offense, but that, their defense is unbelievable. And again, I think that's going to be the difference. It is going to be absolutely blistering hot in Oxford, I believe, this weekend. I think it's meant to be 34 or something on Sunday, which is brutal. So with all joking and joshing aside, if you're playing in that game, keep yourselves hydrated, please.
Ice baths on the sidelines.
Make sure you're keeping in shade when you can.
There you go.
Look after
Crystal
yourself.
says it's happy. All 0 points in the last game against South Wales.
It was still only 15 though.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. 2 touchdowns on offense.
Yeah, but that's
games.
what I'm. As long as your offense is functionable, that team's going to win games on the back of that defense.
Yeah, Jack?
Don't get me wrong, I love the Cheetahs, by the way. Absolutely love the Cheetahs.
That's it. If the Cheetahs offense just can't get going, and with the heat as well, it's going to put so much pressure on it. They are a really good defense, but they say pressure makes diamonds or makes coal. So if they're under that much stress, that they might just win the game. I mean, they're that good defense, but if Oxford can just get some steady points on offense, then it's going to put so much pressure on the Cheetahs defense to just keep it going. And if their offense is not helping them out at all, then I think Oxford will sneak it.
I think it was 28-26 last time.
The thing is, if I'm Oxford, I'm sending pressure a lot.
Yeah,
right. I'm sending pressure a lot. I want to get to that quarterback because he's prone to turning the ball over.
So you're sending 4 each time. Sorry, golf joke's not going to go down. So it's certainly going to be an interesting game now. We've got 3 left here. Sandwell Steelers versus Sheffield Giants. Shouldn't go any other way. Sheffield have actually put on a good show the last couple of weeks. Ran the Wolves close. Beat Merseyside pretty comfortably on the road. Kind of secure their place in Division 1 and in Prem Division North, and we're not bottom ring here. We've comfortably beat 2 of the teams, so they should go out and beat Sandwell fairly comfortable this weekend. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Sandwell. They've taken their lumps and they just keep coming back this year, and tip my hat to them. They could have easily just went, nah, let's just throw in the towel. This is too hard. They haven't. Sheffield have looked decent at times. I mean, even you think back to even earlier in the season, that first half against Manchester, they really ran them close. Like, I always feel like Sheffield are they're on the verge of something good, and it just doesn't quite come together for them. But they should win this game pretty comfortably.
Yeah. Jack?
Yeah, can I say a big shout out to Sheffield, especially because when one of our games got cancelled due to having no refs, they actually gave us, it was late in the day, but gave us the option to play the same day, but we'd have to kick off at like 9:30 in the morning to get all the games in. Like they had a junior game. So shout out to them for actually being willing to give us the option to play that day. But we just
I'd have loved that.
It felt really harsh on Gateshead to go, yeah, come down. We've got a ref sorted, but you'll have to kick off at 9:30. And I know breakfast football is not for everyone. Like some people in the States might like it, having breakfast watching football when it's in the UK. But asking players we have players who do night shifts to then go, yeah, you finish at 7 in the morning, you're kicking off a game in 2.5 hours.
You don't go to bed.
A couple of Red Bulls straight on. There we go.
Yeah, a bit pre-workout straight in. Yeah, but a big shout out to Sheffield, especially Toby. So I'm going to pick Sheffield in this game.
I keep trying to get Toby on the show. Every week
he's an elusive man.
He's sneaky. He always sneaks past us every time. It's like, I'm pretty sure he said this at some point. Oh yeah, definitely. And then he doesn't give us a date. He's sneaky.
Yeah. Next one here, one of the last ones: Sussex Thunder versus Cambridgeshire Cats. Sussex highlights this week. They look much better. They look more structured. They're still not won a game. They're still struggling big time. Cambridgeshire are on the up. They've slowly but surely climbed their way back up our power rankings after losing week 1. They've started to put up more points. Defense is pretty solid. So yeah, I can see Cambridgeshire winning this one fairly comfortably. Chris?
Yeah, I mean Sussex have looking at their highlights all year. They've been able to move the ball, just not get the kind of points up on the board. They've had some nice plays, but it's that consistency that's lacking, that experience, that kind of delivering all the way through. I believe I said a couple of weeks ago I thought the Cats were the best team in the South, and I still stand by that. The Cats should win this in the end quite comfortably.
Yeah, Jack?
Yeah, you both said Cambridgeshire on paper, one of them more likely to win this. Yeah, Sussex might break that egg and finally put it all together, but I can't really see it, so I'm going for Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, I can't see it being this week. Last game here, obviously the most important one for you, Jack. You do not have to say anything that may be used against you on Sunday. But it's totally up to you. But from our point of view, we're always honest here. The Darlington's team have had a great season. Whatever happens with that situation, we hope it resolves itself. But they have been a really good team this year. They've managed to outscore Gateshead in their 2 games. They've comfortably looked like the best team in their division. So for me, I hope that you guys go out and have a great game, and you try and get as close to these guys as possible. These guys might be angry this week, which could go one of 2 ways. It could go a way of really angry, could give everything on every play, or it could be really angry, lots of penalties. So something that'd be interesting, but I think unfortunately, I think Darlington will probably win this one. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, again, I like to consider myself as a straight shooter, but Darlington have looked like a much better team this year. What's going on with the playoff situation aside, they've made a lot of improvements. I believe they're quite a physical team running the ball. I don't think that's really changed from when I seen some of their film. But yeah, I do believe it's going to be a decent game. But I think the Steam for me.
Do you want to add anything, Jack, or you keep it?
Can I just say there was a typo in Nottingham? There was an E at the end. So it's
is there?
Ley.
We're both dyslexic. Disclaimer, slam. There we go.
Yeah,
But I say
spelling.
from our previous meeting with Darlington, I think we did kind of underestimate how much has grown from the film that we got on them, and then and how aggressive there was as defense. Like that really did shock us for a bit, and then we tried to game plan. But we have learned. There we go. We have learned. We are hoping to make it a closer game, and they will be angry, but they won't be the only ones on the field. Like we've not had a game since can't remember now, early July. It's early June, sorry, or maybe even late April. So we're raring to go as well.
Yeah, a little built-up frustrations.
Yeah.
So, but that should hopefully be a really good game. Hopefully, he's get a decent game out of that one, and we'll see how that one goes. Got one cancelled game this week. East Sussex Sabres versus Southeast Squadron. The Southeast Squadron been shot down. Comment here.
Southeast Pumas.
Thanks for the visit. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't, our dad's in hospital just now, so he's
watching us from the hospital.
Watching us from the hospital. No anger. It's not Nottingham's fault. I don't mean it Nottingham. I just mean in general.
General anger.
There'll be general anger. But just before we go here, just for Warwick last week. There you go. They're in the scumbag section. Okay, they've been put in the scumbag section. Again, game day live this week. Might be outside because it's going to be roasting. But these guys should be on again. Hashtag game day live for any of your scores. If you're going to be at games, then give them a buzz. They'll get you on the show to show red zone or touchdowns or anything you've got, and see how we go. Last thing here, thanks very much for coming on tonight, Jack.
No problems.
It's been a pleasure. We obviously wish you all the best for your game.
Can I say a little shout out to two rated players and coaches who both had little boys in the last month or two. One to Paul with baby Jack and one to Johnny Smith with baby Jensen. I know a lot of them are away from the team now, but can't wait to have them back and have a little. That's a Raider junior team way eventually.
Yeah,
that's it, is it?
Just one other thing as well before we head off as well. I've seen that BAFA have recently just released the roster for the women's GB team going to the Worlds. So congratulations to the players that were selected for that, and best of luck when you go across.
Yeah, hopefully it's have a successful time. So again, for this week, that's us done. We'll catch you again next week for another episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and see you later, everybody.